So you've been working harder and earning more than ever, but you still somehow feel stuck. You're probably thinking, I should be further ahead by now. And honestly, you're not wrong. The problem isn't your business, your spending, and definitely not your work ethic. It's the way your income, taxes, and investments are structured. And until that changes, you're always going to feel like you're fighting an uphill battle. Let's break down what's really going on and how to change it. So for example, why do so many high earners feel like they're doing everything right and still not building wealth? And the reason is because frankly, they're doing everything right to earn the income, but they're not doing anything right to keep the income. Remember, it's not how much you earn that matters, it's how much you keep that matters. And what they're not considering is, for example, when their investment advisor talks about, oh, you get these high investment returns and you'll only pay capital gains rates. I'm going, yeah, but what about getting a deduction for the investment? Investment advisors go, whoa, what do you mean? So literally I'm on stage with an investment advisor from a very large investment bank. You would know their name. And they're talking about how great the stock market is. And I said, well, so tell me, how do you use debt in the stock market? Well, we don't use debt in the stock market. Okay, so how do you multiply your tax benefits in the stock market? Oh, well, we just are tax efficient. I'm going, so how do you actually get a tax deduction for your investment? Oh, well, that's easy. You do a 401k. How much can you do in a 401k? And besides which, 401k, if it's deductible, it's also taxable when you pull it out. So listen, you think you're doing everything right, but the government, the IRS is sucking all your money out through withholding taxes, right? And you're never getting it back. You may be getting a little tiny refund on April 15th. You go, woo, woo, I can go on, on a road trip. What if you never had to put that money in the first place? Here's another question I get. What happens when your income goes up, but your tax bill climbs even faster? See, here's what happens. We have what's called a progressive income tax. And progressive income tax means that the last dollar you earn is taxed at the highest rate. So that means that you get a raise. That raise, it's still good to get a raise. It's never bad to get a raise. Okay. But that raise could actually be taxed at a higher rate than what your other income was taxed. And you're going, wait a minute, I'm getting less of my raise than I got in my regular salary, or I'm getting less of my bonus than I got in my regular salary. So what do you do about that? Well, here's the way I look at it. There's 3 questions you've got to ask. And any good tax advisor will ask these questions. How do you make your money? Well, okay, I'm earning it in wages. Okay, all right, not the best, but okay, what are you gonna do with your money? Now see, some tax advisor will ask you the first question. Almost nobody asks you the second question. What are you gonna do with your money? Because what you do with your money has a bigger impact on how much taxes you pay than how you earn your money. What are you gonna do with your money? So the next question you ask, if you're finding that your bonuses, your raise, you're getting increased income, but you're also getting increased taxes, it's time to stop. Stop doing that, right? Stop beating your head against the wall and instead get some good tax advice. Create a tax strategy so that you can actually get a tax benefit from investing, not just tax efficiency, but what I call tax effectiveness. Because here's what happens. Most people invest with what's left over, right? Let's say I make $200,000 a year. That's a good salary. Well, what's left over? Let's say it's $140,000. Okay, so I've given $50,000 to the government. Let's say it's $150,000. So I've given $50,000 to the government. Well, what if I could invest? And so now all I have $150,000, I have to live on that. And let's say I have $20,000 to invest because I need $130,000 to live on, okay? All right, well, so I have $20,000 to invest. What if I didn't have to pay the $50,000 in tax? I would now have $70,000 to invest, not $20,000 to invest. Think about how much faster your investments will grow if you get that $50,000 back when you make your investment. What if you even just got $10,000 back? You invest, let's say you don't take the $20,000. See, here's the thing. With good planning, you can actually take the whole $70,000 and invest it. If you understand how to invest, you can add debt to that. Let's say actually 4 times that, right? So you could actually take $70,000 and invest $350,000. Well, $350,000, the tax benefit could be equal to that $50,000 of taxes you pay. You go, how is that even possible? It's the way the tax law works. This is why the rich get richer. The wealthy made the tax laws, okay? And they know how to use them. It's time for you to learn how to use them. So how does the tax system, here's another question I get. How does the tax system reward people who shift how they earn, spend, and invest? So like I said, said, first question, how do you earn your money? See, if you earn your money as an employee, you're probably going to get taxed at 30 to 40%. If you're self-employed and you're not smart from a tax standpoint, you could pay as high as 60%. But then all of a sudden, you become a professional investor, and that 60% could go to 20% or even zero. That 40% could go from 30 or 40% to zero. Why is that? Because that's the way the tax law, it's built so that if you invest the way the government wants you to invest, you'll make more money and pay less tax. You'll actually get higher returns and pay less tax at the same time. Now, if all you do is take your money and spend it, or you save it, you're going to get taxed on it. You have to learn how to invest the money in a tax-effective way. So what kind of financial structure separates people who feel stuck from those building wealth? Here's a simple way to look at it. Do you use entities for your financial structure? Or are you just owning everything outright? Or is it in an IRA or 401k? If you're owning it outright, that's a pretty good idea that you're not doing what you could be doing. You're not getting the same benefits that other people are getting. When you have somebody that is in a business, they're investing in real estate or commodities, they're finding they're going to get tax benefits you don't get. How do you know? They're using entities. At least they've got an idea of doing it the right way. So if someone is making great money, but still feels like they have no idea what they're doing, what's the first thing they should look at? The first thing they should look at is a comprehensive tax strategy that you look at on a daily basis. When you change your facts, you can change your tax. You've got to look at it on a regular basis. It's a year-round tax strategy, not a once-a-year tax strategy. If your CPA only talks to you once a year, you're already behind. And in fact, they probably are talking to you after the year's over. That doesn't help. The wealthy don't wait until tax season. They don't wait until the end of the year. They make strategic moves every month based on what's happening in the market and in their investment strategy right now. That's exactly what we do inside Wealth Ability Live. Twice a month, I go live to coach entrepreneurs and investors, high income earners like yourself, on what to do today to reduce taxes, protect your assets, and multiply your returns based on the latest laws, incentives, and economic shifts. These are real-time tax strategies that you can use immediately. Direct question and answer period with me on your business and investments. You get to ask your questions to me, and I will answer them right then and there. You get a community of high performers building wealth together. This is our tax-free wealth community. This is an amazing community of like-minded thinkers who understand that the tax law is built as incentives to do what the government wants to have done, and it includes replays so you never miss. Even if you can't make it live, you can always watch the replay. You've always got that opportunity. This is the same playbook that I use with 8 and 9-figure clients, but now you can have it for merely $97 a month. Yeah, you heard that right. Twice a month with me, twice a month, live for $97 a month. Click below to join Wealth Ability Live and start applying the most current wealth and tax strategies before the rules change again.